When I was asked to speak today, I knew that my answer would be yes. And then when I found out we were focusing on problem gambling and gambling addiction, my answer was yes. Because Laney's Hope's mission is to humanize and illuminate the disease of compulsive gambling. The irony is, ordinarily I would say, absolutely, it would be my pleasure. I couldn't say that this time. Anyone that's here today, and the reason they're here is because they lost a loved one to suicide, the words, "it would be my pleasure," simply don't make sense. It is my honor, and I believe that every one of us here today, for us it is our calling. And for that, I am honored to be here today. My sister Laney, I walk in her honor today, and like me, Laney was a compulsive gambler. And like me, Laney reached out for recovery. And I will never forget the day that she called me in 2001, crying, sobbing, and saying, "Beatty, I've lost everything. I'm so ashamed. I'm so embarrassed. I'm a compulsive gambler and I don't know what to do." And I was filled with joy because I knew what she did not yet know. The key to facing any life-threatening addiction, the first thing is to admit there is a problem. I knew that Laney had opened a door that would change her life. If she entered the 12 steps of recovery, she could have a life filled with joy, filled with happiness, free of shame, filled with friendships, a life she never imagined. And she did. Laney and I went to meetings together, we went to conferences together, and after a year in recovery, a year without a bet, I gave Laney my 1-year pin, and it was such a privilege. And she gave me this. And if you can't see it, it's a very whimsical little dancing diva. And she has become the logo for Laney's Hope. We call her Laney's Dancing Star. And on this, Laney wrote, "My soul was born in 1955. My spirit took flight in 2001. Thank you for your constant love, encouragement, and support as I learned to dance the dance of joy." And Laney danced for a while, and she danced in recovery. And I would say that of all my possessions, this is my most treasured possession. And Laney danced in joy until she didn't. On May 28th, 2008, I got a call from my Aunt Bee in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and she said, "Bee, you better get here quick. I think your sister's had a stroke, and if she survives this, it'll be a miracle." I couldn't get to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania fast enough. And when I did, I found my sister in a coma in intensive care. And the doctors came in on grand rounds, and they told me she had taken an overdose of antidepressant. And she had something called serotonin syndrome because of too much antidepressant. And they started asking me questions like, how is your sister's home life? How is work? How's the family? And they kept pummeling me with questions, and I said, "I'm beginning to think that you think this was intentional." And the doctor said, "We don't know how anybody could have this much serotonin in their body without it being intentional." That simply didn't make sense to me at all. Regardless, the good news was that serotonin wears off naturally from the body, and Laney would wake up. It was hard to imagine because she was a foot away from me in a coma in a hospital bed, but she would wake up. Later that day, my Aunt Bee came to me with a bag full of receipts, and she hung her head and said, "Bee, I'm sorry to give this to you. I think I know what's going on." And it was a bag of receipts from a casino. Anyone here that has a gambling issue knows what that means. Midnight, a withdrawal from an ATM. At 3 o'clock, a jackpot receipt. At 5 o'clock, another ATM receipt. At 7 o'clock, a trip to the cage. I knew that Lainey was no longer dancing in joy, and this addiction that you can't see, you can't hear it in slurred speech, you can't see it with an altered gait, and you can't recognize it from a blood test. The addiction of gambling addiction is why my sister overdosed. But she was going to wake up. Only she didn't. The doctors continued to take tests, run tests, and something wasn't right. And after 4 days, she still had not awoken. And they did more tests and they told me, "We're sorry. Your sister's had a major brainstem stroke. She wasn't going to wake up." And on June 2nd, 2008, I lost my sister Lainey to the disease of compulsive gambling. Before then, I really didn't care why I had a gambling addiction or why she did. I knew that we had help. We had resources. We have a community that can help us. So it didn't matter why, but now it did because the doctors could not even understand why would somebody overdose because of gambling. That doesn't make sense. To anybody with a gambling addiction who has seen it, it makes complete sense. Compulsive gamblers have the highest suicide rate of any addiction group. And you don't know until it's too late. There's no satiety point for a gambler. We can't drink ourselves into passing out. We just keep going. And now I care, now I know that the American Psychiatric Association recognizes gambling addiction as a behavioral addiction. I've heard it said that gambling addiction is the most pure addiction because nothing is ingested, and yet the gambler makes their own dopamine. So there's no satiety point. I now know that the brain of a compulsive gambler, when lit up by a CAT scan, shows exactly like a cocaine addict. I need to understand that so other people can understand that it's not a moral weakness or a lack of character. And if you want to know more about compulsive gambling, please see our friends at the Nevada Council on Problem Gambling. They have such valuable resources specific to gambling and suicide. And if you know anyone who's having a problem with gambling addiction, please have them call Gamblers Anonymous. Help is available. And today I understand suicide. Lainey's Hope, our website, gets more hits for suicide and gambling than any other topic. It's not even in our mission. Our mission is to humanize and illuminate the disease of compulsive gambling. Clearly, suicide prevention must be part of our mission. I recall the first time I ever got a suicide note posted on our website, and I was panicked, and I said, how can I help somebody by email that posted on my website? And I called the suicide prevention hotline and said, can you track somebody down by their email? And they said, no, you can't. What to do? I now have a posse of people, and many of you, I thank you, you are in this room today, that I can post something on Facebook and say, a brother or sister in addiction from gambling needs help. And these people will write letters of encouragement immediately, complete strangers reaching out and saying, please don't take this ultimate step, there is help, and we understand your despair and your loneliness and your shame. And thanks to the folks at the Nevada Suicide Coalition, I have learned Safe Talk and Assist. They have a wonderful program, and I now can say the word suicide. I used to use euphemisms like, I would say to somebody, you're not considering hurting yourself, are you? And these folks are cringing because they know every part about that sentence is incorrect. And today I know to say, are you thinking of suicide? And I don't have to wince and I don't have to soft pedal it because I cannot serve them if I cannot face it. And it's with my thanks that they have trained me, and it's my thanks to the Nevada Council on Problem Gambling that they have mentored me. And so today, you know, the pain, it's been 7 years since Lainey passed. The day-to-day pain, the open wound has healed. There are times when I still cry, of course. I miss my sister. She was 52 years old when she passed. But gone are the days when I would literally shut myself in a closet, hugging a piece of Lainey's clothing and crying because I simply could not face that empty chair at the Thanksgiving table. And for those of you who are freshly wounded, we understand. And today we will see your tears. You are likely to be embraced by strangers because through no choice of our own, we have a bond that makes us family. And so as we walk today, I walk in joy. I think of the funny things of Lainey. It's 7 years down the road, and today I think, oh my gosh, my big sister played my fairy godmother, and when I was 8 years old, I knew I was chosen and I had a fairy godmother. My big sister played games with me and understood me and teased me. And today I think of Lainey generally hitting me and going, oh, shut up. For some reason that was part of our love language. Today I think of Lainey in love. I honor her memory. And as we walk today, we will all take gambling addiction out of the darkness and into the light. May we take suicide out of the darkness and into the light. And it is my prayer for all of you that when this city sees us walking, they will see hope walking. Thank you.